All right. What is going on, my friends? Today, we are on some NHL '07 with a burning question. Was NHL '07 better than NHL 25? And there's only one way to find out. We got to go. We got to play a game. And we got to get a feel for it, right? We got to get a feel for it. We got to see what this game looked like, how it played 18 years ago, which is absolutely insane. Unfortunately, I am playing an emulated version of the game. I just got to give you guys a warning. So this isn't on the 360. I don't have the 360 version anymore, but it's crazy that they actually have emulated versions of 360 games. It blows my mind. But don't want to get on too much of a tangent about that. Let's play some freaking hockey. So, NHL '07. NHL '07, for those of you guys that don't know, because it's crazy, but there's a lot of people that, you know, never played this game, never played it. And NHL '07 was revolutionary for the series because it introduced the skill stick. And that skill stick that you guys take for granted, you young whippersnappers today, basically, using your right stick and being able to deke, make plays, all that, that was not a thing in NHL until the year 2007. This was the first game to allow for that. And I gotta say, I have played a couple of games. Like I loaded up. I played a couple of games of this to kind of get a feel for it. It's like it's crazy, man. It's crazy. But we'll talk more about it once we get into the game. So we're gonna play as the Atlanta Thrashers. All right, we're gonna play as the Atlanta Thrashers, which was a team. We're gonna play against the Rangers. Why not? The Atlanta Thrashers, who were indeed a team back in 2007, which is great. I love their jerseys, by the way. Fantastic jerseys, just phenomenal. And I mean, look at that. Look at that. Has to come back. Actually, before I get into the gameplay, I do want to talk about their menu. So, in terms of menus, this was a very boring menu. I have to be fair, okay? I When it comes to comparing the older games in the NHL series to NHL 25 and a current product, I always defer to the older game. I always give the benefit of the doubt to the older game, and I always will. But I have to be fair. This menu kind of bland, and as I was playing '07 a little bit, getting back into the trying to get back into the hang of things, I was thinking that this game kind of it feels like it was the NHL 15 of its era. So for those of you guys that don't know, NHL 15 was the first game that EA released when the Xbox One and PS4 consoles were out. So that was the first next gen NHL that they released. And that game was extremely bare bones. Like there was nothing in it. Nothing. That was embarrassing for those of you guys that remember that played it, but it was really bad. And they were pushing the fact that, oh, it's the new this is the next gen engine, blah blah blah, but there were no game modes, nothing. It was bad. And this, from just what I've seen so far, has kind of given me that vibe where I'm like, huh, all right, big push of gameplay and skill stick, but like, what's the actual game like? And this one did kind of feel a little bit like that. But let's hop in. Plays the Thrashers. Can you believe? Look at these lines. The Atlanta Thrashers: Ilya Kovalchuk, Bobby Holik, and Marian Hossa. That is unbelievable. And the Rangers that's my favorite Ranger line. Nylander, Straka, Yager. That line was freaking awesome. Phenomenal line. Let's hop into the game. Let's have some fun. We're gonna play on pro. Nice and easy. I'm not good at these games like I used to. It's actually one thing, like if you guys go back and revisit these games, I I don't know, maybe it's just me, but like I cannot score in these games for the life of me. I struggle to score goals. Here's the little pregame. Let you guys listen.
Here at the Phillips Arena, Atlanta, Georgia's the site. This matchup between the Atlanta Thrashers and the Rangers.
I think that's pretty cool. It wasn't definitely wasn't revolutionary by any means, but that wasn't bad. Gary Thorne sounds good. And that looked cool. It was simple, but this is what I'm talking about with this game, where it was like they didn't really. I don't know. They didn't do much. They didn't. Anyway, here's the skill stick, which look at this. Look at how exaggerated the movement is, man. That's crazy. It's crazy. Um, it's so tough. It's really tough to. Not a penalty. Too early, boys. Come on, we gotta stay disciplined here. It's so hard to judge these games, you know, coming back like all this time later, just because of like, all right, what was the technology that they were working with, right? But to be fair, there were other games from this era that play just as good. Like this is 2007, so this is when COD 4 comes out. This is when Halo 3's coming out. So you have some games that, granted, those are completely different games, right? But those games ran, you know, still run amazing to this day. And that's kind of like what I try to look at when it comes to these older titles. Like, okay, how does it hold up today? Does it play well? This does, but it's just, it's tough, you know. It's tough. Again, the skill stick's cool. It's in its first iteration. They've definitely come a long way in where the skill stick is now. I'll say that much. You know, you can't even like make an actual. So I think the only you could do the 360 like that, which I was trying to figure out. So you could do 360s, which is nice. Oh, that was a good look. But yeah, gameplay-wise, I think gameplay-wise, it's really, it can be tough to judge these games, again, because of what they were working with. And this is the first year that they have the skill stick, so, you know, you got to give them a little slack. You know, they're testing out a new technology. It's still, it feels weirdly all right. You know, maybe it doesn't look as good. This one, it's weird. This one is NHL 07, and to me, this game kind of, it feels like prehistoric, which is strange. It's like I could go and play, and I will play NHL 06 on this channel at some point. And NHL 06, even though that one, you know, it's old. I mean, that was a game that came out on the GameCube, and I believe the PlayStation 2. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but I think it was the PlayStation 2. That game, you know, it's older, and it really, but it doesn't feel that way, if that makes any sense. And this one, it looks, the ice looks like the ice does today, which you got to give them credit for, right? I mean, that ice, is that ice that different from, ooh, nice little goal here. Oh, they actually had the goal. This I thought was cool. A little cut to the players. Commentary held up. It held up. Wasn't, you know, perfect, but I could listen to Gary Thorne and Bill Clement say the same lines to me over and over again, no problem, compared to what we have today, guys. So I gotta, you know, just be honest about that. I would much rather listen to Gary Thorne and Bill Clement than any of the commentary that we have to deal with now. So love that. But yeah, it's strange. It's strange. Like again, the ice looks like the ice we have today. The player models, you know, if you think about it, like how different are these player models from the player models that we have in 25? Yeah, they're obviously much crisper today, but it's been 18 years, guys. Granted, I'm not expecting anything. I mean, how much can you change a player model in a hockey game, right? Not much. Ooh, nice little goal from Holy. Okay. Oh, we're cooking. Yeah. Look at that. But that is so usually like my judgment comes on the presentation of the games, right? Instead of the gameplay. Because again, the gameplay, how much can you judge this gameplay years later, right? It's tough. But presentation, that's something that you can definitely improve on over the years drastically. And I'm sorry, but NHL 25, have they really improved their presentation? I don't think so. I think that for its time, oh my god, that hit is ridiculous. That it was crazy. That's something I loved about these old games too, guys. Is like the hitting was so insane, and I don't think that was a problem. Like the thing is with NHL is you're always going to be walking a line of, okay, how realistic do we want to be, and how arcadey do we want to be, and finding that perfect balance can be pretty tricky. And I love these games for letting you just be able to dummy people. You know, the hits were nuts. Especially later on, I'll go back and revisit them. Hopefully this emulator allows me to. But I would play like NHL 11, 12, and I remember the hitting being insane. Like you could hit somebody and they could go flying into the rafters. Granted, those were usually glitch hits, but it was fun. You know, it was fun. That was fine, right? That's okay. Like I don't mind that. I think that's all right for an NHL game to have a little bit of chaos in your game. You know, like that's okay. And these games definitely had that. Oh, we're going down here, guys. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. They're not going up anymore. Shit. You know what? What's strange is actually on these games, like skating down and being the team shooting down, it's not that bad. Like you can get used to it. Oh yeah, you see, like it's all right. It's all right. We'll deal with it. We'll find a way here, guys. Love these jerseys too. Fantastic jerseys. But yeah, like presentation wise, again, I don't know, man. I give more credit. I give more credit to the '07 team. You know, because you're in a completely different time. This is almost 20 years ago, and this could pass if you think of it like this. Do a little thought experiment. If you had the gameplay of today, but the game looked like this, you would probably be fine with it, right? You'd probably be like, that's okay. Like that's a decent game. And if anything, I think this kind of looks like NHL 16, which I did another video on, and it has this feel to it where it looks more crisp, even though it's old. I know it's old, but it feels crisper. And if they had the technology from today, I don't know. I think they would have done a pretty good job. I think they would have done a better job than the team of today. So definitely interesting to think about, but it's fun. It's definitely fun revisiting these games, and I always recommend it just so you guys can understand too where this series has gone and just how it's really fallen off. Unfortunately, it's fallen off. It's just not in the same state that it was. You know, the innovations are limited. You know, I'm playing this game, and I think it was the last game I played before I shot this video, and I'm on the penalty kill, right? I'm on the penalty kill, and I'm like, oh, wow, there's no full pressure system. My guys can actually skate on the penalty kill, which is something that, for those of you guys that play on NHL 25, I can't stand the full pressure system. I think the full pressure system is one of the dumbest things that they've put in NHL. I hate it. I don't get it. Because, again, if you're on the penalty kill, and think of it in real life, okay? You're on the PK, but you're 20 seconds into the PK. You're not going to be fully gassed just because the team has the puck in your zone. Okay, and there's plenty of times that... Oh, need a save there, attendee. Brendan Shanahan. Why is he wearing number 15? What? I don't know what that is. That's weird. But, yeah, the full pressure system, and again, thinking in terms of, okay, in real life, how many shorthanded goals are scored? A lot. And it's hard to do that in the new NHL game because of the full pressure system. If you're on the PK, your team is gassed like almost instantly. You know, it was stupid. It's just a dumb ad. It's a very out of touch ad. I don't like it. It's just, I don't know what they were thinking on that, and that's my problem with the newer games. It's like their innovations are, and like, is that an innovation? No, it's just an annoyance. Like it was an annoying ad, and then you know they try to say, oh, we're trying to combat puck ragging and stuff like that. So if you got a team holding the puck in the defensive zone, they just keep throwing it back and whatever. You can, you know, they'll get really tired. They'll get bricks in their skates. They can't move, right? So for those of you guys that have played EASHL, you may have inadvertently done it or have seen another team do it, and they just all their guys slow down, and fine. But at the same time, they don't have that penalty for puck ragging in the offensive zone, which is another problem. People puck rag in the offensive zone all the time. All the time. How many times have you guys dealt with that where you're playing against a team either in ESHL or any other mode, and you're playing against a guy or a group of people just playing, and they just keep passing the puck around. They don't take shots and they keep holding it, but they don't get penalized because they're in the offensive zone. And it's stupid, right? And it's like before getting too deep on that rant, my problem is the team at EA now. It's like they don't know what their players are going through, or they don't care what their players are going through. It's felt like there's a disconnect. And with a game like this, was it perfect? No, but it felt like they were trying to innovate in ways that would benefit players. The skill stick is, regardless of where you rank this game, regardless of where this game falls in history, I think for most people this game is forgettable, and it is for me. It's not something that like I think back on and say, oh, this is one of my favorite NHLs. Like NHL 06, that's my favorite by far, and that's one that I would look back on and say, okay, that's my game. Or even the early 2010s, 20, like NHL 11, 12, 13, 14, that era faced so many good games. But you don't get that era without this innovation, without the skill stick. It never happens. You needed this game to pave the way for all of those titles to come after it. You needed that someone to take a chance and say, "Hey, let's really change things up. Let's make use of these controllers that people are using now, and let's get them to use that right stick." And that's an innovation. Like how has NHL innovated with 25? What have they done? Oh, they give you buttons so you could do little trick shots that how much do those trick shots impact the game? How many times are people doing lacrosse moves in games? How many casual players are doing lacrosse moves in games? Nobody. It's hard. It's hard to do it. It's not common. And okay, you got some other deeks with that, but it's like that's not an innovation. Okay, that's different. That's not taking a chance, because you could do all of those moves with the right stick before. So all they did was change it to buttons, and now you could check with your buttons too. And but you already could do that years and years ago on the old games. You could do things with just the regular buttons on the game. You could hit with your button, with the B button, or X button, whichever one it was. You guys, for you old heads, you know what I'm talking about. But there's just no innovation anymore. How else have they innovated? Right? That's how I feel, at least. It's like they have not taken chances. The fact that EASHL has basically been the exact same mode that it's been for the past, it came out in 09. In 09, 16 years, EASHL has been exactly the same. They haven't innovated anything. Anything. They haven't dared to change anything. They haven't, just nothing. Right? Nothing. That's where my problems arise. And with a game like this, they took a chance with that skill stick, and it worked. It worked. It changed NHL forever. It made a positive impact on the game. It was fun. It wasn't perfect at the time, but again, thinking back, like as a kid playing this game, how cool this was. I remember how cool this was. I remember playing it. Like now, I'm a little more critical because I'm like, oh well, it plays so much better today. But I remember as a kid playing this game, be like, this is sick. Like you could look at that. Like you just that was crazy at the time. That was crazy. I would have been 9 at the time that this game came out, and I remember being blown away by the fact that you could do that. And now it's like, what are the kids of today being like? Are they in that same boat? Is there anything about the NHL series today that does that? And short answer for me is no. I don't think so. I can't recall an innovation they've made in the game that is that groundbreaking. Granted, how often can you innovate on the NHL franchise? Probably not that often. I don't know how many skill stick changes you can have, like, or things like that. Right? It's difficult because again, it's hockey, so you're limited in that. You can't change the sport, but there has to be something you can do to drastically improve the product over time. And I don't expect a change like this every year, but we've been on what Series S and X and PS5 for a good while now, right? We've been on this iteration of consoles for a good while, and is the product that much different from this game from '07? I don't think so. I don't, right? I mean, is it that different? Because if you load up this game against the game from 18 years prior, which I don't even they wouldn't even had it. Maybe they would have had an NHL. No, it would have been what 80. It would have been 89. I don't think they had NHL games then. Maybe. I don't think they did though. I know there were 94 was the game that was the big game in the 90s that really put NHL on the map. But there were games before that in the early 90s, I believe. I'm not 100% sure when they started with the NHL games, but whatever. We'll use NHL 94 as a thought exercise, okay? If you took NHL 94 and you put it side by side with this game, you would look at it and you'd be like, wow, like, this is night and day how far along they've come. And now, and that's a lesser period of time. Granted, technological advancements, how far, but I don't know, like we've come, I don't even know if I can make that point, because we've come a very long way with technology over the years, right? We're in a way more advanced state right now than we were in 2007, and look at what they were doing in 2007. Oh my god, Kovalchuk, I was waiting for that one. Ooh, nice shot. Look at this. That was beauty. What a missile. What a missile. But, yeah, technology-wise, we are way further ahead now than we were in the period from 94 to '07. And the way that 94 looks against '07, night and day compared to this and 25. 25 is not that far ahead of this game, if you think about it, right? It's not. What a shot. Oh my god. Peter Bondra. Ooh. There we go. All right, we're figuring out how to score goals, guys. Took long enough. Took long enough. But yeah, like, if you really think about it, it's crazy that the lack of advancement with this series over the years, and how little the people behind the game have tried. Like, where is the guy that came up with the skill stick of today's NHL team? Where is that guy? I want that, whoever that is today, if that person exists, I want that person to take a chance for the NHL franchise and to try to change the game for the better, make it fun. Oh yeah, we're running away with it now. Oh my god. Took long enough, huh? Sheesh. Ilya Kovalchuk with a beauty. Yeah, love that. A little 5-1 game here for the Thrashers. So, anyway, just kind of went on a little bit of a rant, but that's what these videos are for. Going back to these games and kind of seeing where they were at their time, and getting you guys to think about, for the people that never played this game, or maybe you did play this game and you don't remember it as well, looking back and realizing that we should not be excusing the people making the games today. Because also, I'm sure people always are, oh, well, NHL doesn't have the same money, blah, blah, blah. Listen, guys, when this game came out, there was no Hockey Ultimate Team. Okay, so they weren't making any money off packs. They weren't selling as much as they are today. They were just nowhere near the money that they're getting today. Were they getting for this game? And they still put out a game like this that is pretty good. It's pretty good for the lack of resources, for the lack of care about hockey. This is a pretty good game. And now you have all the resources in the world. You have all the technological capabilities. You have all the money from Ultimate Team. Plus, you sell the game for more money than this game was. You sell the game for $70 now. And you don't have enough capability to put out a better product? You don't have enough capability to put out a game that innovates like this one did? That's where my problem arises. And I tip of the virtual cap to NHL 07 for just being what was what NHL fans fell in love with. It was games like this that makes me still play to this day, because even with all NHL 25's faults, I'm still thinking of, oh, it's NHL, and I remember, this is what I remember. These games. These are the games that made me fall in love with NHL the way that I did. And made me want to play and play and play, and for years. It was this. It wasn't what came out to, because I'm sorry, but if my first experience, or one of, I mean, this would have been my second true NHL. If my second NHL was NHL 25, I don't think I'd be playing NHL in 20 years. I don't. I really don't, because what do you fall in love with as a gamer? To me, not much today, not much. Granted, does the game play more smoothly? Yeah, but where's the character? Where's the character? Where are the people that are again taking those chances to really make a memorable game, a memorable experience? And I just don't think we have those people anymore. But anyway, presentation wise, obviously you could see it. No 3 stars presentation after the game, which kind of stinks. Again, this one wasn't perfect. It was a little bit gray, a little bland, but they took the chance with the skill stick, and this is a game where I'm willing to defer and be like, all right, they were focused on trying to make the game play better, so they kind of de-emphasized all the rest of the stuff, presentation wise, everything. But this menu right here, this reminds me of a menu today. If you look at this, it's like, oh my god, it's gray, boring. Like, that is very NHL 25y. So that's where I would say they're similar. But again, they were focused on the game and changing the game, improving the way the game felt. So I guess they spent less money on the creative team and all that. They're like, all resources are gonna go towards the skill stick, guys. That's kind of what it felt like. I don't think, game modes. Why the game modes? They didn't really have much. They had a dynasty mode, which would have been GM, a world tournament, international hockey, and then a shootout. So really not much you could do in this game, which is unfortunate, but still, for its time, I give them credit. And I understand more of why this game looked like this back then. Like, I could see that, I could get it, because again, they didn't have the resources that the team does today. They didn't have hut packs to pay for everything, because I don't even know if if you could track how much they freaking make off of a hut. But I think we all know, guys, that they're making boatloads of money today. So the fact that you have a grayed out menu today, like this one, in NHL 25, it just doesn't make sense to me. Granted, okay, they have, shots of the players, of, the superstar players at the main menu and whatever. Looks a little cool, but it doesn't feel like a hockey game. It feels just kind of lifeless. And you guys will see this more once I get into like NHL 06 and possibly some of the 2K games, how their menus kind of like reeled you in, and it felt so much better than something like this and something like NHL 25, where it's like they didn't care about that part of the experience. And to me, that part of the experience matters because you spend a lot of time at the menus, guys. You spend a lot of time at the menus, and how it looks at the menu does matter. It does matter. But anyway, I think that's all I got for you guys. So I hope you enjoyed watching. It was nice to revisit NHL 07, talk a little bit about its place in NHL history and how where we've ended up as a franchise. I would put this again. I always defer to the older games. I think the older games, just by and large, are better than anything we see today. I think they're been probably dating back to NHL 20. I would give these types of games more the benefit of the doubt. I give this one a benefit of the doubt. If you've never played NHL 07, go play it, go try it out, see how it feels, enjoy it, whether it's the 360 version, a PS3 version, or you go and play an emulated version of it. Have fun, enjoy the game. I'd love to hear what you guys think. I'd love to hear, where your thoughts are on NHL 07, its place in history, and whether or not you think this game is better than NHL 25, or would you say that, okay, 25 has come a long way and then 25 is the better game? Love to hear your thoughts. Make sure you drop them in the comment section down below, and don't forget to hit like and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and I will catch you at the next one.